Oh my goodness. Well, welcome to our live coaching session tonight. I have a dear friend, Donna Fry is here with me tonight. And I'm really excited for us to have this conversation because you have a lot of experience with Target 100.
Yes.
We're going to kind of get into that whole area. You've had a lot of success and we're here tonight to hear about that, but also to coach you as to where you are now and what your next goals are. So
Okay.
I'm trying to remember from my perspective, when did you take our foundation sort of
You
beginner?
know, I looked that up right before the call.
Oh, you did?
Yes, April 2021.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
we're going on 2 years
Yes.
next
Yes.
year, next month. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And 2 years ago, you took that course. What drove that decision?
Tired of struggling with my weight for 20 years.
Mhm.
Tried everything, Weight Watchers mostly, and other approaches, high protein, but no fat, and just different things like that. And everything would work for just a little bit. And then it just didn't work anymore. And
Got it.
I knew I was following the plan. I just felt like my body was stuck.
Got it.
And
Okay.
your plan was a completely unique approach.
So that's what got you. It was sort of
Yes.
that it
I
was
read your book. I found your book
okay,
at
awesome.
Target. I think I bought it at Target and
Yeah.
read your
Target
book.
100 at
Yes,
Target.
I know. It's funny. Yes.
Awesome. So then you took the course, and let's just talk a little bit about like what sort of occurred for you, what aha moments, and how
Okay.
how did this approach affect you, just so people get your
Yeah.
history.
The interweaving of all 6 pillars, that it's not just what are you eating. It's the sleep, it's the stress relief, it's the exercise, it's the movement, it's the water, it's the food, it's everything, and that they all affect each other. So it's just not the one simple thing of, for example, on Weight Watchers, how many points did I eat?
Right. That
Yes.
sort of that old-fashioned approach.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So that really impacted you. So
Yes.
you followed the plan and you've had a lot of success. You want to just share sort of how that the last 2 years went for you in a nutshell?
Okay. Well, when I first started the plan, I think I was like regularly just losing weight, and my body seems to do that when I get on something new. It kind of, it takes over and I see success for a while. And so I think through the whole beginner's course, I did very well. I don't remember exactly, but I know it was like a 10-week course back then.
Yeah.
And I think I lost like maybe 12 or 13 pounds or something, which for me to keep losing each week was success instead of just seeing the first 2-3 weeks and then what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, I also, we had friends. Being in that beginner's class was wonderful because every week you saw the same people on the screen. And then you had little challenges and things, and we would post our meals and all that. So you kind of kept it where it was motivating and just something new. And then we would connect with each other. And so I enjoyed that whole aspect of it too. The camaraderie with the people and, just
Well, that
the
was at the
challenges.
time, right? That we were still very much in COVID at that,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
you know, at that moment, right? So that
Yes.
was great to be connecting with people,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So then you did that, and you had success, and then you
Yes.
kept going. You took other classes.
I think you had an advanced class and then the mastery class. So I've taken 3 of your classes. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, great. And then you most recently, it's fun to have this coaching call because most recently you took a class and you set a goal and you achieved that goal on top of it. So you've lost now how many pounds?
Since I first started with you, 30.
Wow.
30.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
kept it off. And
Yeah.
kept it off.
Yeah.
And I will get to that depending on how you want to go with this. I'm just going
Yes.
we'll talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
So I just kind of wanted to share like our last conversation, our last private call. You were getting ready for a big family event, and
Yes.
we had a private call, which always when someone does a class, they get private calls, as a part of the class. And we talked about this goal of you going on this trip with your family. It was a
Yes.
backpacking trip. Can you share a little
Yes.
bit more about that?
Yes. Okay. I've got 4 grown kids. At the time, they were 27, 29, 31, 33. They were all very active, always have been. We've done hikes before, but never backpacked. And by hike, I mean, 3, 4, 5 miles in the mountains. It's just out back. You're done for the day. So they were here in 2022. This is last year in April. And we got accepted for a backpacking trip. Now, they had all done backpacking trips before together as a family, but the parents, me and my husband, were never invited. Not that we ever thought we wanted to be invited, but this time they wanted to make it a family event. And to give you some background, what I normally worry about on things like this is the mountains. I'm afraid of heights. And so I'm worried about how narrow is the path? Am I going to fall off the mountain? Da, 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 da. Well, this time I really wanted to do it, but that wasn't my concern. My concern was, can I do this? Physically, can I do this? And it's not like I'm just going with my husband or people my age. It was going with our kids. So the whole family was here. It was Easter time a year ago. And my son said he thought I could do it. His concern wasn't the heights. It was, for me, it was the weight. And he felt that the hike would be easier for me physically if I got some of my weight off. And I had already lost about 10 pounds or so with you and maintained that, but I wasn't doing any more. And so he kind of outlined a plan for me while he was here and just said, I really feel like you need to just get that activity up and really focus on protein. And so I said, okay. And he kind of just, that's what he left me with. Well, the funny thing is I was in one of your classes then, I guess it was the advanced class, and we had a call 1 week later. So I let you know, this is what I'm facing. We have given our acceptance. We are going to go on this backpacking trip. I need to lose weight. My son thinks it's possible. And you totally believed that it was possible for me too. And then you even said, how much would you like to lose? You left that up to me. And at the time I said, well, I'd like to weigh blank. I said, that's 22 pounds to lose. And I had 5 months to do it in. And it wasn't even like, is that possible? It was, I haven't weighed that little since 2013. I was 57 at the time. And I said, I don't even know, is this possible anymore at my age? I really, even though my son thought I could do it, I didn't feel like he knew, but I felt like you knew. And you said it was possible and that I had enough time to achieve that. And so we just kind of you laid out a plan for me. It wasn't like his was just, here's what you do, like minor things. You gave me a whole specific plan during our coaching call and just said, if you follow this, I really think you can get there. And because you believed in me, I believed in me. And so I did it. I followed the plan. So I don't know if you want me to go over what you told me, because I have my
I
notes
love
here.
that. I think I want to stop you for a second, just because I
Sure.
think I got chills and I got a little teary eyed just thinking about like your son looking at you and saying, I believe in you. Right.
Yeah.
And then you had a call with me 1 week later and I said,
Yeah.
I believe in you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And sometimes it's so important to get that help we always talk about accountability and support, right? Of like, you just need someone to say, you got this, right? You've
Yes.
got this. And I remember when we laid it out, like I very quickly, I asked you, like, what is the date of this? And I pulled up my calendar. I started counting weeks.
Yeah, you counted the
right?
weeks. Yes. Yes.
I remember it like it was yesterday, because
Yeah.
sometimes, we really get overwhelmed with like, oh, it's only 5.5 months and I've never weighed that much. And I'm always coaching you to make it much smaller. So I think
Yes.
that was what we did. Do you remember?
Yes.
Can you share a little of the outline that we made?
Yeah, because I take notes. Anytime you give us the notes too, you submit the
I do.
notes to us afterward, but I take notes. That's just who I am. You just kind of said the first 15 weeks or so, focus on just losing weight, pure weight loss, and pick up more lean weight. And I was working out, but I started doing more of the weights, like weightlifting in the gym, not just always aerobic, but doing more of weightlifting. So you told me to do that, and you told me to walk as much as possible and to track. But by tracking, and I pulled it out, one of the just the facts sheets.
Yeah.
And I am a very, very, very methodical person. So this is right up my alley. I love it.
Okay.
I literally kept that sheet religiously for 18 weeks and plotted how many carbs did I eat, but I also added the protein, and you also told me to monitor my fat intake.
Yeah.
I use my Fitness Pal. It's just something I've used for 10 years. So it was real easy, put my food in, and I would just plot it each day. I kept track of the water. I kept track of my steps. I kept track of what exercise did I do every single day, the stress relief, the sleep. And then I methodically averaged it at the bottom of the week and did that. And so that's what you told me to do, is to track, to monitor the fat, and then to walk as much as possible.
Great. And
And
you
then-
mentioned something that's so important too, is that your son told you to focus on protein. And
Yes.
I love to point out, like, the limiting beliefs that came up, or your age, or, I haven't weighed this since this point, right? Those are all just limiting beliefs. And age is always one of these, and I hear it a lot right now, right? Menopause, perimenopause, all of this, all very, very big right now. And we've done a lot of social listening around this, and weight is a big issue because it is a new equation. I love the focus for women in the age group of the perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, really staying focused on protein, because when I work with a lot of women our age, we just don't tend towards protein,
No.
and I was remembering coaching someone, and she's like, no, I'm eating this big fruit in the morning with some little bit of yogurt and some granola on it. It's probably hitting her, straight sugar in the morning with 40 grams of carbs. And I love it. It's not off the charts, but switching that over to eggs in the morning with greens, the start of your day is so much more satiated, right?
Yeah.
And then you have less cravings throughout the day. But I think especially for women in their mid 40s all the way up, to stay focused on protein.
No, that's very, very true. And I never did eat as much protein as my son thought I should. He had me looking at this bodybuilder book and all that kind of stuff. I just listened to you. I upped the protein, and no, exactly what you said. It satiates you. I never felt deprived the entire 18 weeks that I methodically recorded everything. And I was never hungry or starving, none of that. I didn't feel like at the end of the day, I'm deprived, I can't eat like everybody else. No. And I did what you said. It was eggs, but I would mix it up. I might have avocado toast or scrambled eggs with vegetables, or with spinach and feta cheese and stuff like that. But I would have a piece of toast on the side too, and with butter on it. I had fat. I tracked the fat too. And but then I would do other things like oatmeal, and I would put in the egg whites to be some of the liquid with the milk. And then I'd still mix in some chopped up fruit. I didn't make any category off limits. I didn't say I'm not going to eat any fruit, but you had told us on the plan fruits are naturally higher in sugar, but I know it's not added, but I would limit them to about 2 per day.
Great.
And so I would always have a fruit like with breakfast, and I'd have a fruit at lunch. And then other times I'd have like a smoothie, and that would have fruit in it and milk and the Greek yogurt, and maybe put a scoop of protein powder in there, which right away, 24 grams of protein.
Yeah.
So breakfast, I did it. And then lunch, it was the same thing with the protein. Cottage cheese, I'd make sure I had like a cup. Well, right there, you're getting a lot of protein. Or tuna.
Yeah.
Tuna, lunch meat.
Yeah.
I would have lunch meat like once a week, things like that. And then dinner, that's the other thing, protein. When I was like on Weight Watchers and stuff, that was always the category I limited to 3 to 4 ounces. Instead, it was 6 to 8 ounces of the salmon or the tilapia or the chicken breast. And I had ground beef too. Nothing was off limits. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And then sometimes snacks in the evening, I would have like Greek yogurt again with either berries, or Greek yogurt with some protein powder mixed in it with a little milk to make it creamier. And I'm just telling you, I think it really was the protein that made me never hungry throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I always ate 3 meals a day, and some days snacks too.
Okay. Great. So you figured
Yes.
out, like, it sounds like you, right? You figured it out. I love that you tracked the whole 18 weeks, right?
I love it too, because I have it to look back on.
So great. It's like you created your own little book,
Yes.
of like,
Yes.
oh, this is what I did and this is what it looked like. And that's why I love tracking for that reason. We may not track for the rest of our lives, but when we're really
Right.
seriously trying to figure out our
Yes.
formula, when
Yes.
we're trying to figure out our formula, the only way to do this is to track and to get the
Yes.
data and to start to
Yes.
understand. So
Yes.
you went on the trip and it was amazing, right?
Yes, the trip was amazing. The height, that was nothing. There was one place I had trouble, but physically we were able to keep up, my husband and I. Now, again, the kids still could always go faster than us, but we didn't make it where we had to say, just go ahead. They were always with us.
Yes.
And it was a 3-day backpacking trip, and you had to get permission on the trip where you could camp at night. Otherwise, you weren't accepted to go on it. So we had to make a certain distance. So it couldn't be like, oh, we had to be at a certain campground at that evening. And so it would be 7 to 8 miles a day. And this is not like walking on the ground 7 to 8 miles.
Oh,
This is
no.
all uphill. It was Olympic National Park in Washington. And
Wow.
oh, wait, I forgot the biggest part of it. You told me this is backpacking. This is not just a hike. I'm wearing a 40-pound backpack. And what you said at the beginning is, just think, if you lose those 22 pounds, that's like carrying 22 less pounds in the 40-pound backpack. So I could not believe I could do this. Not only the hike, but carrying 40 pounds for 3 days.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that already. That was the big thing.
That was the thing,
Losing the
right?
weight it made it possible.
Yeah.
Also, variety and exercise. You did tell me in the beginning, walk, 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 but I started branching out, and like you said, we have to find what works for us. And I found out that variety, I need more variety than just walking.
Yeah.
So I started doing the strength training twice a week. I did HIIT class. I learned that I love HIIT. So I do HIIT classes still to this day now, twice a week.
Love it.
I did do the walking still. I did some yoga, and spinning twice a week. So
Yeah.
everything, it was helping me physically, strength training with the weight of it, and also rucking. That's where you walk around the neighborhood wearing a weighted backpack, but also aerobically, the spinning, the HIIT classes.
Yes.
So I was getting the variety in the food and the variety in the exercise to train for this trip. And it was phenomenal. And it's a memory we all have. They want to go again, and we're
Right.
up for it. We're up
You're
for
up
it.
for it, right? Because since
Yes.
that, right, and I'm thinking of so many things of like just how amazing it is that you have that memory. How much a goal or something in front of us can really help. Like it really can give us some focus to
Yes.
say like, okay, I want to do something, and to have been able to share that with your children is just so amazing. And the variety piece on the exercise, right? And really getting yourself strong enough. Those are the
Yes.
two things I can't say it enough. I think I'm boring at this point. Protein and weight training for my ladies who are over
Yes.
45, protein and weight training. Please shift, really put a little focus there and, get yourself there, so that, you can do whatever you want in this
That's
life.
right.
The proof is now, honestly, we are able to be as strong and vibrant into our 70s
Oh my goodness.
as we were in our 30s. Like there's nothing that goes on here that
Yes.
can't be in an upkeep type of a system, right? So
Yes.
if we're strengthening enough, if we're, supplying the system with enough protein, if we're moving our body, feeding it well, hydrating, sleeping, doing all 6 pillars, there's no reason that this should be less fit or able. I mean, you may have not have even been able to do this backpack trip in your 30s, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't know that I could have.
yeah,
No, I don't think so.
right. So we can be stronger. So I just
Yeah.
want anyone to hear this, that there's no diminishing. I'm 52. I'm not seeing that at all. I'm stronger now than I was in
Yes.
my 30s,
And I will tell you, because I told you that it was so limited who could go on this trail, because you had to have a camping permit. Otherwise, you could only just go so many miles out and go back. The people we ran into were the ones who were going to do the whole trail. there were a lot of people our age.
Yeah.
It wasn't all young people. So they were our age, but they were fit people our age to be able to do this.
Well, and that's
And
why we do this. Like, that's what Target 100 is all about, is like, for the life experience, I want to be fit. I want to feel good in my body. Whereas I think in many other plans, the focus, like you said, it's just food. It's just about the weight loss. It's not about all of this other stuff and feeling
Yeah.
our very best and being our best at any age.
Mhm.
So I love this. So,
And, my son even asked me, he said, so, after I had reached the goal, and I didn't even say that I did reach the goal, and I had 22 weeks to reach my goal of losing, it was just like 21.5 pounds. I reached it 4 weeks early. I lost every single week, no major weight loss. Some weeks was 0.2, other weeks were high 1 pound somethings. I think I had 2 weeks that I lost more than 2 pounds. And those were the first 2 weeks.
mhm.
It was just slow and steady. And I did average it, and it was 1.2 pounds a week on average over the entire 18 weeks. So I made it. I did make the goal that we set, and ahead of time, that I'd never even thought was achievable. So that was phenomenal.
Amazing.
And you also said it was having a goal, but also if you can have, you said support, if you can have someone, I every single week, my son doesn't live here, he lives in Manhattan. Every single week though, I reported to him. And if I didn't, he reached out to me wanting to know how I did that week. And he
Oh,
wanted to see the numbers. It wasn't just weight,
yeah.
because he
No.
knew it could, even though I never gained, which I could not believe, but he just wanted to know. And every single week, he was my accountability partner that I reported to, told how it was going. He kept saying, up the protein more, get a little more sleep, because that's my weak pillar, is not enough sleep.
Okay.
And I also found that I had accountability partners at the gym. Not that I asked anybody, but joining these classes, the instructor, I started making friends with the instructors of the classes. They're looking for you each week. And it's a small group, like 10 of us. And they're looking for you. And I would have to report if there was a reason I wasn't coming a certain week, only because they're my friends now. And I'm still going to all these same things. Everything I did to lose the weight, I'm still doing. But it was accountability and going to my exercise also, because these were my friends looking for me. And I was also loving going to it because I made friends there.
This is such a huge testament that you just gave, is you designed a program that you loved.
Yeah.
It wasn't a weight loss program that you finished and then went off of.
Right.
You
Right.
came home and wanted to go to those classes.
Yes.
You came home and wanted to eat that breakfast.
Yes.
That's what I'm constantly preaching, is like,
Yes.
once you're there, that's weight loss for life.
Mhm,
It's like,
mhm.
I'm like, I don't really think of, I love everything I eat. Like, I'm on a turkey sandwich kick. I don't know why. I just had another turkey sandwich for dinner tonight. I've been having it. Like, I'm just on a kick of turkey sandwiches and lettuce and mayo and cheese and avocado. And like, I make it really well. I
Yeah.
toast the bread. And I was like, I'm so happy with my meals.
Yes.
Like,
That's what I was going to say. I actually ate better when I was consciously trying to hit the protein and watch the macros and all that. My meals were better and more balanced, and they were pretty on the plate, the colors and everything, than when I wouldn't be trying.
Yeah.
And my son would even say, how are you doing? And I'd say, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I never felt deprived, but I was actually feeling better than usual eating these kind of foods. And physically, I felt great. And that's another thing. During that time, I used to always put off going to the doctor, and I actually skipped it several years during COVID. That was just kind of my excuse, but I never wanted to go because of weighing in, but also just the blood work. And so I went to the doctor during this time also, because it was time, and I finally felt good about myself. And I'm telling you, my blood work was phenomenal, totally in range. So just from eating well and exercising and getting the weight off, but like I said, nothing crazy, nothing odd. Nothing's off limits, balance, variety, the cholesterol down. And it was, I wrote it down, 173 is supposed to be less than 200. The HDL's high, and that comes from doing all your exercise. The glucose, below the 100, 97. My triglycerides are supposed to be less than 150. Years ago, and I'm talking like 15, 20 years ago, when my kids were little, they were in the mid 200s, 223, 250. They're supposed to be less than 150. They were 86. I'm telling you, my whole body, like my my regular doctor just looked at it and said, you have phenomenal blood work. And it's just from following a healthy approach.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything odd or extreme, nothing.
You said something so interesting though, like, isn't it amazing? Like after, when we talk about diet mentality a lot, when we're talking about it in the foundation course right now, and we have, a whole week is dedicated to it. And, isn't it amazing that we would put off, and this is not you, this is right, Donna, I hear this from everyone.
Yes.
You're just telling the truth.
Yes.
That people put off their doctor's appointments because of getting on the scale at the doctor.
100%. I told my doctor that.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't been in a few years.
Right? They
And
know.
he said, yes, they said, we've heard this before. And then sometimes it takes a little scare to get you in there when you're worried about something and all of a sudden you have to face them. But yes,
But
I put it off for years, 3-4 years at a time.
That thing that happened for many of us who dieted, and the scale became the judgment, and the judgment became the guilt and shame, and then all of this, like, and I just wanted to say it out loud. I wanted to point it out because so many, and anyone who's listening to this, like, don't feel any guilt and shame over it. It's really quite normal to hear that, but at least admitting it out loud, and then be like, okay. And what I think that does is not that I want to weigh something different, but I'm not totally happy in my skin.
Yeah.
And I want change, right? Like whether it's getting fitter or, eating better or drinking less alcohol, right? Which is what we teach at Target 100, which is like, identify the behaviors that are not helping, and they're not helping you, but you're getting something from them. And that is the truth, and that's okay. But can you say that one's standing in my way and I want this, or I want to identify that? So important. Well, this is so incredible. And that's why I really wanted to be able to bring you on, because I wanted people to hear, first of all, it was 2 years. Okay. Let's just outline this.
Not even 2 years.
Right. But it's like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
You started the foundation course, and it was a journey within those 2 years.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like there was very few steps happening when we started working together.
Right.
You do that over time, right? Like you're not an unbusy lady. You're taking care of a lot. This woman is not an unbusy woman, right? So
that's true.
It's one of those things that I think, first of all, just reality zone is that this is a process. I want people to hear that. And it doesn't need to be overnight, and it needs to be a journey. And you continuously are learning. I'm continuously learning. To have you talk about this incredible thing this incredible goal that you put in front of yourself. And that's what I remember so well, is when we counted the weeks. You said I have 22 pounds to lose, and we had 22 weeks.
Yeah.
I said, it's really just a pound a week. We don't even have to be extreme. Like, but we have to do a few things well, just a few things well, and we'll be fine. Right.
Right.
So 22 weeks, 22 pounds, right? Like, and those 22 weeks, for everyone listening, they're going to pass anyway.
That's the whole point. My son said, you can do this. And I really thought about it. What's the alternative?
Right.
If I didn't try to do this, am I just going to stay at this weight? Am I going to gain more? I mean, I needed to do something right. The weeks are going to go by anyway. Where am I going to be in 22 weeks?
Yeah. And we put that mindset to everything else. We put it in our jobs and our lives. This, like, facing it a little bit like this great challenge in front of you to do this and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I do want to just answer really quickly. I saw that Meredith had asked in the chat. She asked, what is backpack hiking?
Oh, okay.
Just for anyone who doesn't understand that.
Okay.
A brief explanation.
Okay. We were on a 22-mile hike in the mountains, so it was quite extreme. You wore on your back every single thing you were going to have with you for those 3 days. There was nowhere that you were stopping for the night and like setting up camp. Your camp was on your back. What does that mean? That means I'm wearing the tent. That means I'm carrying my sleeping bag. That means I'm carrying my clothing for the 3 days. That means we're carrying our food. Now, yes, we had to really plan all this and divvy it up between the people and pack light for everything. Like I said, you're wearing every single thing you need for those 3 days is on you. Your water. everything, everything.
Yeah.
So backpacking is you are carrying everything with you for 3 days, and that's why it weighed 40 pounds. If I was going to a tent each night, I would just carry the bare minimum with me. We'd have gone out and gone back. Instead, I got the tent with me, the water with me, the food with me, my clothes with me,
Yeah.
everything's with me, and I'm wearing it up the mountain. It's not just a flat trail, up the mountain. So that's what backpacking is.
So, well, so we've so many big things that we've hit here, right? Is like this idea of creating a plan that you love, the idea of
Yes.
taking your time and exploring the journey and having a goal. What's more even amazing to me now is now you're 30 pounds down, and
Yes.
that's just who you are at this point, right? You're not questioning
Yes.
what to eat in the morning. You're not questioning what workout to do. You're not questioning
No.
how much sleep you need. You've arrived. This is the goal of Target 100, and to have you arrive here. But it means the truth of it is it never ends.
It never ends, but it also becomes part of your life. I'm going to be honest with you. I reached that goal weight and I didn't use the just the fact sheet anymore. It's been September, October, 6 months since I've filled out one of those sheets, but I weighed myself regularly every few days or every other day just to make sure that this has become my life. And I haven't gained back anything, nothing.
And that's the way it has to be. It
But
literally
it's never been like that before. And I think it was because I was not on a diet plan. I wasn't following, here's the list of meals that I have to eat. What am I eating today? What am I doing? I made everything my life. Like I said, the exercise, I'm doing the same exact things that I did to lose the weight. I'm still going to spinning twice a week, the same classes. I'm still going to the HIIT classes twice a week. I'm still weightlifting with my daughter twice a week. I'm still walking periodic. I'm doing everything the same, going to. So what I did to get there has become my life. And it's because I enjoyed it. Like you said, I found the things I loved. And so I can continue going forward and doing this. And the same thing with the meals. You kind of just get a feeling for what you've been eating to lose the weight. And like I said, nothing was extreme and it wasn't too low calorie. I can maintain this. And don't think I don't have fun. I eat chocolate. We had Christmas. My family was here. They stayed with us for 10 days. And we also need to talk about how I had surgery too during that time. But I just kind of know what I eat. And it was a variety also. So I'm never tired of it. I probably eat 6, 7 different breakfasts a week, 6, 7 different lunches. And I don't repeat dinners, it's
made it up. Yeah, you made it up, right?
Yes.
Like that's so important. Well, but the reason I say it never ends is that like we have constantly shifting needs and then new goals, and we have new priorities, and we have new issues that pop up, right? Or new challenges that pop up. So where are you now as we're sort of coaching? What is your sort of like, hey Liz, I want to ask you this question. Do you have one? Do you have something in front of you that you're like, I want to do this?
I don't have anything I want to do, but you and I actually, when I finished the mastery course, we had a call together, and that was before I had the surgery. But you talked me through surgery, but you also said, what is your next goal now that I've achieved the weight loss? I did say maybe lose 10 more pounds. I've never, and as an adult, ever weighed less than 10 pounds less than this. But honestly, if I just stay this weight, I'm satisfied. I'm fine with that. But if I chose to, I know how to do it. And I would start filling this form out again just to really be seeing what I'm doing. Because right now I don't monitor anything except for my weight, and it's staying within about 2.5 pounds.
Yeah.
But you said to me on that call, physically, what kind of goals would you like to do? And you came up with for me, because I do go to the gym, and you told me what to do. And be honest with you, I haven't started it yet. I thought after my surgery that I would, and I didn't really jump back in. I got back to all the exercising, but you said 2023, how about making that the year of the push-up and the pull-up? Because I can do a push-up, maybe 2 push-ups, real push-ups, not the girl kind, and pull-ups, forget that. I do assisted, at the gym with like 100 pounds of assistance. And so you, again, took that goal and again, made it very small, little steps of how I could achieve that in the long, over the long term. So I have that paper here too. you said for the push-up, wherever I am, start where I am. And every single day, do that number of push-ups. So if I'm at 1, I do 1 push-up each day. Then you said in 10 days, add a push-up. And then in 10 more days after that, add a push-up. So that, I guess I'm going to start that. When I prepped for this call, I started thinking about, I thought, okay, I've gotten done with my surgery. I've gotten back to all my exercise. And let me tell you about that. I took 6 weeks off. It was 6 weeks off from my surgery. And I went back to that HIIT class, and I really, within a session or two, I jumped right back in. My body knew how to do it all still, which I was amazed at. I really thought it was going to go back. Nothing. There was no step back at all.
Amazing.
But
That's
so
a
you said
testament.
to do that. Yes, that really,
You
know,
build a lot of base muscle back, right?
Yes.
So, and I love to make that clear for people again who are listening, or just really clarify, as you do that work and you build lean muscle, it's because I said 2 things, ladies: protein and weight training, or resistance training, HIIT training, things that really stress and build strength. You now have a strong base of muscle, and muscle at rest burns way more calories than
Yes.
fat. And so you have like this extra cushion of protection against weight gain, because your body is this incredible engine now that is burning calories.
Yes.
So guys, as you start to think about that, understanding that it's a process, right? Talking about going and doing 1 push-up a day, right? It sounds like nothing, but honestly, you saw over 22 weeks what you could achieve.
Yes. Yes.
You'll be up to 10 push-ups in no time, right?
Right.
Just a matter of months, and you'll be doing 10 push-ups. So, that growth piece for you is
Well,
really,
even for a year, if I were to do what you said, that's 365 days divided by 10. You're talking about like 36, 37 push-ups. I mean, that's just like the weight loss, how that sounded like, oh, wow, like major. This, if I could do 37 push-ups, and I know you said you can do like 50.
yeah. And
I can't even imagine seeing a woman at the gym my age doing that many push-ups.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And not just doing them, like doing it with ease, right? And really feeling very, very strong. So,
But it's a progression. You don't just jump right in. It's
and
slow and steady.
told you on that call that each year I choose what year this is for me. And 1 year it was the year of the push-up, because I was like, and that was in my late 40s. My late 40s, and I was doing a lot of kickboxing. I could tell I was getting close to like being able to do more push-ups. And I said, no matter what happened during the class, because they would do a lot of push-ups in kickboxing, I would not go to my knees. Even if I couldn't do any more push-ups, I would stay in a plank position until that was done. And that's what I did for the year. I spent the year just in that. 1 year, I called it the year of the hill. There's a hill that coming back up to my house and from my run. And I would always run half the hill and walk the second half of the hill. And so for 1 full year, I ran the full hill all the way home, like just those, I picked something that I'm focused on. And so I hope that'll help people. And it doesn't have to be a year. You can say this is the month of. The thing I want to remind you of is like you said, it hasn't happened yet. Like as you're getting back into your life and now you're sort of ready to go there. It's using the habit formation loop, is saying, okay, let me think about something that already exists for me. Okay, I go to the gym every day. Okay, before I walk out the door, I'm going to go over to this mat and I'm going to do my 1 push-up. Or every morning I do brush my teeth. So after I brush my teeth, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to go to the carpet and do 1 push-up. So let's find that spot for you that you can attach it in. Whatever occurs every single day at the same time, because otherwise it's one of those things where you'll like do it one day, not do it.
Hit and miss.
Hit and miss, which that's the thing. Another giant broad category that we're teaching here is that consistency in a small way matters.
Yes.
The small consistency.
That's what I attributed, really, the whole success was that one word, was consistency. It was just consistency and following the plan that I laid out for myself, or that you helped me lay out. And then that other thing you say, behavior over time equals the results. It's the same thing.
Behavior, B over T equals R. Behavior
Yeah.
over time equals results. And I like to say that for everyone listening is like, you know, we're telling this beautiful story, and you know, it feels like rah rah. It almost feels like we're at an after party, right? Like an after party of all this. I'm sure you had your moments of fear and doubt and like, oh, you know, am I going to make it? I know that it wasn't all perfect.
Or is it going to be able to continue?
Right.
You know, I couldn't believe it would happen week after week after week, because it never really has before.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And then, like I said, at my age, I couldn't believe it, but it is possible. And to maintain it now is a wonderful feeling. I've never maintained my weight in my life, ever. It's either been gaining or trying to get it off. And like I said, for 6 months, I have maintained within 2.5 pounds, because it's just my lifestyle now.
Yeah. Well, and I think as we think about consistency, the trick to consistency is, again, it's sort of what I always talk about. It's like, consistency is gray. It's not all or nothing. It's the ability to walk away from those thoughts and feelings that are pulling you back, saying, am I going to be able to do this? Is it going to continue? Oh, because a lot of times what happens mentally and emotionally is those thoughts take over.
Yeah.
Oh, am I going to be able to sustain this? Am I going to be able to, is this going to happen? Is it going to keep going? And the questioning then puts this doubt and fear in our mind. So we back away from the behavior because we are now saying, well, it's not going to work anyway. I just won't do it. So I think as we really delve into what consistency is it's the ability to stay doing, you know, not to state the obvious, of course, to stay doing something consistently, but it's the deeper level of consistency is being able to, against the negative voices and without a promise.
Right.
Right. Like, I think that's a really deep piece of consistency is saying, you know, and I'm watching my son, like he loves to play the piano. He's 14. He started when he was 6 and like he was super inconsistent. And then same thing happened. He got a great teacher. The teacher said, play what you like. I don't want to assign you. You tell me what you want to play. And so he started playing all these songs. He started playing Billy Joel. And I can't get this guy off the piano. Right. Because in the consistency of him sitting down, he's gotten so good this year. Like sometimes I'm like, who's playing down there? Like, is that my husband or is that Benji? Like, he's so good. I actually think he's better than David.
Oh my goodness.
David's not on the call. No, but I mean, he's so good. So I think consistency, if we just want to really define it, is the ability to continue in a consistent way against the negative pull and without promise.
Right.
There's no promise.
No.
But also being able to drop that expectation because, you know, there's no promise, but there's certainly no promise if we don't do the consistency.
Right. Right. Nothing. There's nothing. Yeah.
Something will happen.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
now you said something about like all or nothing, and that is something also. I am a very all or nothing person, but I had to let that go and not be the perfectionist that I always am, because you can't be a perfectionist every single day, 22 weeks, and now 6 months later. And it's what you basically said is just aim for a B. And I just did the best I could. And like I said, I averaged every single week on that just the facts thing. And there were some weeks the steps weren't up there and the sleep suffered some and things were off, but it was still enough to get me the weight loss. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough to get me the weight loss. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And every category doesn't have to be perfect. It was the best I could do for that week.
Yeah. And that's why in the web app that we designed for Target 100, I put that wheel so that you could see, oh, wow, look, I really haven't hit the sleep pillar very hard. I mean, you said sleep is your tough point.
It's my weakest one.
Yeah. Or I haven't done X or I haven't done Y, but I'm still able to lose weight when I focus on these 3 pillars.
Right.
I can still take down. Sometimes it's only 0.2 of a pound. That's fine. That's fine. in a week,
Right.
right? But other weeks it's different. So
Yeah.
I think that's it, is like the expectation that if you lose 0.2 one week, that's the way it's going to be for the rest of
Yeah.
time, right? That too is like stopping expectation, sort of being where you are, staying consistent, are so important
Mhm.
for everyone. I think the other statement I wanted to make, because I get to coach a lot of people privately and through these courses, and is this, I do believe, I've heard it so often, that people believe that they are all or nothing people. And you just proved to us that it's a breakable habit.
Yes. Yes.
When I try to teach habit formation, I try to go in deep and say, these are learned behaviors. These are not character traits. This is not like I was born an
Right.
all or nothing person, but people believe that they were
Yeah.
born all or nothing people. No, none of us were. And most of the people that I work with, because of dieting, have
Yes.
fallen into all or nothing behavior patterns. And
Mhm.
dieting set that up, right? It was like, okay, I did well today, and then I had one small mistake, so I give it all up, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, so I think just if you hear anyone who's listening to this, if you hear yourself in a belief system that you are a perfectionist or you are an all or nothing person, um, those are changeable behavior patterns. They are learned
Mhm.
behaviors that you picked up over time. Many of us are recovering perfectionists, all or nothing people.
Yeah.
And what it takes is, it takes faith,
Yeah.
honestly. And I can still remember sort of being like, okay, well, yeah, no, I did. I ate that extra chocolate and I'm gonna not beat myself up over it. And I'm gonna just have my healthy dinner, and feeling so strange that I didn't have to now be a bad person or be
Yeah.
off my plan or be binge eating something, that I could just be okay with the fact that it wasn't great that I had that.
Right.
It was fine. I'm fine. And if I just see it as fine, I can be consistent.
Right.
So I love that you pointed that out, and that you are now, that's what I see as if you're looking for lasting weight loss, it's very scary, and it is a balance that we have to all find, of like, how much is okay, into where, okay, I got to get myself a little bit more motivated to do X, Y, or Z, right? So it's this constant. That's why I said there's no it being over. You still,
No.
now your now goal is to start working on the push-ups and the sit-ups. Let's just talk briefly about
Oh,
sleep, because you've said
sleep.
it's
Yeah.
your pillar. How do we help you with that one?
I don't know. And that's the other thing. My son, he pushed that every week too, because I would report to him my sleep also. And he is very much the 8 hours a night. He just gets in bed. I don't know. I did look at what my average was for those 18 weeks, and this was actually higher than what I would normally average when I wasn't really taking care to like monitor it. And it was 6 hours, 23 minutes over the 18 weeks. And honestly, that's good. We have a very late lifestyle. I don't know. My husband just comes home very late from work. We eat dinner late. Like we might be eating dinner at 9 or something. And then you want to sit there and watch some TV and stuff and just relax. You don't want to eat the dinner and just go to bed. And then I have reasons to be up in the morning. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Is your sleep good when you're sleeping?
My sleep is phenomenal.
Okay.
I have the Fitbit, and my kids cannot believe it. Consistently, like for my age, when you put it on there, you hit the benchmark, it says it's supposed to be like, is it 8 to 16% of my sleep is supposed to be deep. Mine could be 16 to 21, 22% every single day. And I'm not tired.
Okay.
I do get, they cannot believe it. And I said, I think it's because I get so much deep sleep.
Mhm.
I don't know what I do to get that deep sleep. I don't know.
Well, and then yet again, a great teaching here is that you can't put everyone in a box and say
True.
7 to 9. And, there's a balance to be struck in a lifestyle. So funny. I was thinking of I was like obsessed with like taglines. I was thinking of taglines for Target 100. I was like, it's the change your life lifestyle company.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? Because we're really talking about a lifestyle, and
Yes.
your lifestyle is that you are up late because your husband comes home late, and that's time that you enjoy with him.
Yeah.
And that's a part of your joy. And
Right.
we cannot be like, oh, well, Donna, you should go to bed at 8, even if
Right.
he's not home, you should eat
Yeah.
before he gets home. Like that's what a diet would say, right?
Right.
Which is,
Right.
oh, you can't eat for 3 hours before you go to bed, and you can't, no, in your case, 6.5-ish is okay based out of the deep sleep you're getting,
Right.
probably because of your exercise, eating right, walking, all the rest of it. Your deep sleep is strong,
Right.
and you're not tired.
No,
If you said to me, Liz, I'm barely keeping my head up
no.
off, that's so I can't, we got to balance your life in this lifestyle, right? So I think that too is like most of the diets that we went on would have said, no, you've got to do X,
Yeah.
and if your husband eats one meal, you eat a different meal, and
Yeah,
you
no.
go to bed early because you did. No, 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 no. So
Mhm.
it sounds
Yeah,
like,
that is also with the awake minutes factored in. You know how the Fitbit tells you that, where if you weren't wearing that, you would just say, I went to bed at blank time, got up, and it would look longer because, it might be like 45 minutes or something they say that I've been awake that I'm not really aware of
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's great. I just kind of thought if there was any behavior shift, but it sounds like you've got a good
Yeah.
amount of sleep for you.
And no caffeine.
There
At
you
the
go.
most, 1 cup of coffee on some days of the week.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm fine.
Well, this is a huge inspiration. I mean, I hope that your energy is just kind of just like flying through the screen of like just passion and joy and a great life that you've built for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
You are such a huge valued part of this Target 100 family, and I so appreciate you taking the time. I know this is going to inspire and motivate a lot of people,
I hope so.
on many levels. So thank you for taking the time.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to get a video of you doing your 25, 30 push-ups.
Okay. Okay.
We
But
will.
I am going to work toward that. I do need a new goal, and that is what it is.
All right, trigger it.
Yeah.
Make sure you find your spot in the day where you're going to do it.
Yes. Yeah,
Awesome.
I will.
All right, Donna, thank you
Okay.
for everything.
Okay.
And I'll see you in the community.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.